Hello everybody, this is Dragonzilla1991 here, and today/tonight, depending on what time it is when you're watching this video, I will be talking about yet another Ice Age animal. Yeah, since the release of Prehistoric Planet Ice Age, which was a great series by the way, go check it out, I've been going for a right Pleistocene marathon. Anyway, the subject of this video will be on the Papo Giant Irish Elk Megaloceros. And it's almost that time of year again, that's right, another Christmas is just around the corner. Well, in a couple of weeks' time to be more accurate. And I thought that it would be suitable to look at the Giant Irish Elk, even though you can watch this video any time of the year. This was one of the 2020 models, and in my honest opinion, the only good looking figure that came out that year, prehistoric wise that is, way better than their dinosaurs. So what was the giant deer? Megaloceros first evolved during the early Pleistocene epoch, 1 million years ago, so a little bit ahead of the woolly mammoth. And despite the name, this was actually native to Eurasia and even some parts of Asia. I think maybe China, I don't really know. I did do some research, but this script was written last year and I may have forgotten. Anyway, it lived alongside other animals that are both extant and extinct, and the last of these majestic giants died out 7,000 years ago, and it was also amongst the first prehistoric animals to be given its own statue, or statues in this case, for Crystal Palace Park in London, to which I visited last year at the start of early 2024, link is in the description below. Figure itself now, and it's not too often that Megaloceros gets represented, and when it does, it's usually part of a set. However, Bullyland did do one many years ago, but it has unfortunately sadly now been discontinued. I did have a look on eBay a while ago to see if I could find a second-hand model, and while I was able to find some other Ice Age animals from Bullyland, to which I do plan to order and add to the collection at some point in the future, but the Giant Irish Elk I was unable to find, so my guess is, like the Safari Limited Dodo, discontinued. However, Papo's is the upgraded model, and I was actually quite surprised that Papo of all companies would make Megaloceros, because I always thought that if we ever got this Goliath, then it would most likely be done by either Safari, Collector or Mojo. Now with the other Ice Age animals that Papo have done so far, it's up to you to decide whether certain species are male or female, aside from one, but with the Giant Irish Elk here, we can tell that this is definitely a male. And Megaloceros may appear to resemble a modern day deer, however there were some differences. 1, he was bigger and a lot more bulkier. 2, he had a storage hump like other Ice Age titans. And 3, the items that make this giant so iconic, and the first thing that you'll be quick to notice with this colossus, the antlers. They are just as majestic as they would have been on the real animal, and like on mammoth tusks, they are also weathered too. When I got mine for my birthday, the left antler was unfortunately warped, but appears to have straightened out over time. Because he was an Ice Age animal, naturally he would have a thick coat to help protect him from the cold, unlike the Megaloceros from Walking with Beasts Episode 6 Mammoth Journey. As much as I like that design, but it is rather scrawny and looks like it could freeze to death. For his colour scheme, he is dark brown with black and light tan brown, his underbelly is cream white, and the antlers are of course ivory. Being a majestic animal, the giant elk is looking towards his right. Perhaps he is attempting to impress some staggerless females. This marvellous model does bring to mind the statues at Crystal Palace Park, as this titan really hasn't changed that much since the early days of paleoart and paleontology in general. Now for size comparisons. So here is Megaloceros with the Papo woolly mammoth that we reviewed on the channel last year, links in the description below in case you wish to check the video out. Here he is with the Papo cave bear, who's also another previous review from last year, link below. These two don't really get along, as you can see they're both giving each other the cold shoulder. This is what he looks like with the Papo woolly rhino Coelodonta that we also covered along with the Safari Limited woolly rhino, again links below. And here he is with Papo's interpretation of the saber-toothed cat Smilodon that we also talked about along with the collector figure, also from last year, and once more, link below. So what are my final thoughts on the Papo Giant Irish Elk Megaloceros? Well, all I can say is that this mighty deer is well and truly magnificent, and a very dignified looking mammal indeed. If you're a fan/enthusiast on European Ice Age animals, then this figure will be for you. And also, after the most recent appearance in Prehistoric Planet Ice Age, I think everybody's going to want a model of Megaloceros, the Giant Irish Elk, and who better than Papo. But still, I would like to see another manufacturer make their own interpretation of this giant deer. This is Dragonzilla1991 signing out. Take care, thank you all very much for watching, and see you all for my next upcoming reviews that are made to celebrate the 20th anniversaries to Walking with Monsters, Life Before Dinosaurs, and the 2005 Peter Jackson reimagining of King Kong. They will be premiering in a couple of weeks' time, so stay tuned for those. So until then, bye for now.